Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave and today we're down in Victoria. We're going to be putting the stick rake on the UHI Mini Excavator. Yes, welcome back everybody. So we're down in Victoria at a friend of mine's property. There's Marty over there. Marty. So what are we doing? What's our quest today? What are we going to try and do with this mini excavator? I've dragged 1,000 k's down to your place.
So
what's the problem?
So I have gum trees, lots of gum trees. So the biggest problem with gum trees is they constantly drop debris onto the ground. And we've had a lot of wind of late. And it's just been blowing stuff. In fact, it's to the point where you do one clean up and then it's down again. But you can see they also get heat stress and drop branches and sticks. And you can see on the other side in this paddock where the branches have all broken off. But normally,
so how do you get this stuff out of here?
Well, normally I've got it's a rake generally, and you're trying to drag it back, and of course you're trying to get it out from under, and
how's that been working for you?
Hopeless. And I've tried the tractor. I've got a small tractor and I've tried that. You can't get hold of it. You know, and you've got to try as best you can to get it down. In Australia, you can see here at the moment, this is really dry.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And it would. We're lucky we had a bit of rain in the last couple of days, but if a fire gets into that, it'll certainly burn through there, but as soon as it hits this, it will explode.
Yeah, this stuff would go up.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of it, isn't it?
And in Australia, it's a big problem that we have everywhere. And that's why, you know, our big bushfires is where we can't clear out this undergrowth. And under normal circumstances, when we don't have houses and that, the countryside will burn and all this will burn away, and it's just part of the natural cycle, and plants will start to grow and all of those kind of things. But when you're living on acreage and trying to keep it nice, you've got to get in and do the hard work. But this year particularly, it's just got away on me quite a bit, and I'm really hoping, Dave, you can replace this with something a little more
let's hope that,
robust.
We can get the stick rate on the end of the arm in here and do it. Alrighty. Most of the attachments fit on this quick attach. Well, they call it a quick attach. I don't know why, because it's not really quick. It's not hydraulic. It's like a manual type thing, but it's really reasonably easy. If you don't have one of these things in here, then you've got to take all these pins out, and it's a bit of a drama to do it. So you just, it's got two claws in here that just come back on the bucket. So if you get it here, it'll just fall off to a degree. I'm just going to try and get this in there. There we are. Usually I don't do these up too tight. I have them reasonably loose so I can loosen them off again. There was a R-clip that used to go in here for some reason, but that got lost many months ago now. I think the next mini excavator I'm going to buy, it's going to have a 2-speed drive in it that's you can get places a little bit quicker. Righto, give it a bash. Go a bit closer. sort of get it out here somewhere you could pick it up, you reckon, or?
Yeah, I think probably you're right. I mean, it might just be that I'll leave it there, wait till winter comes on, I'll just burn little piles of it. It's probably just as easy.
Well, I think I'm still actually trying to learn how to use the stick rake properly, but it's getting it done. It's certainly pulling the sticks out and cleaning this up. You can see the pile of stuff we've got already here. I think probably what I'm doing is I'm pulling too much soil with it. I'm going too deep, I think. I just need to try and pick up the sticks and the leaves and leave the rest behind, but it's not too bad. I can't get around completely around here because some of these trees have these overhangs and stuff here. You can't actually get the digger under it, but it's much better than what it was, but there's still a lot to do.
So one of the things, Dave, that did make my life easier, and I think you bought these when you bought your tractor and I put them, but
Yeah.
I end up with big piles of sticks, and what happens is, in the old days I just had to pick them up, throw them into a trailer and take them out onto a big fire pile we had, and to burn them. But now I put the forks on when I got
So
these.
these are made down here, aren't they? They're made in Pakenham or something,
Yeah.
aren't they? Hayes machinery.
Hayes, yeah. And there were.
Do you like them or not?
Yeah, I couldn't live without them.
Morning everybody, welcome back. This is the second day down here at Marty's place near Inverloch in Victoria, and we did 3 hours roughly on the mini excavator yesterday, clearing away the branches and the bark and all that stuff that was under the trees here. And I'm just sort of walking around showing you what we've ended up with. You can see over here, these are the big piles of stuff we ended up with that we've dragged out. You can see it's a mixture of leaves and bark and sticks of different sizes. There's a couple of bigger ones here. That's Marty. Morning.
Morning.
Just mentioned that I think we've probably spent 3 hours on this so far, and we've come from, I don't know, how far have we come down the fence line here? The machine's down here. We've probably come 50 metres maybe?
Yeah.
Between all these trees.
Actually, just a little short of 50.
You could probably go over this sort of stuff and smooth out some of this stuff. I guess it'd make it a bit easier, then you may be able to mow sort of down between here. But
I can just get in with the rake now on this and flatten it out really easily.
Yeah.
But I could, there's no way I would have got this amount of work done in that time. I'd have been at it for days and days doing it by hand, obviously, and the tractor was never any good. I could never get in and drag it out from there. And the little mini excavator is great because it's small enough to get in between the trees and manoeuvre itself around to drag it out. And this rake really does move a lot of material when it's as it comes through.
Yeah, we're talking about the size. So they're not very wide. I think it's like 850 millimetres or something. But these trees are quite narrow, all the gaps between them, and it's just been the right size. I think even if you had a slightly bigger machine, you probably wouldn't have been able to get in to the same degree of being able to get right up to the fence up here to pull that stuff out. So
one of the things that people often do, and this is historically, these trees have been here. I think they probably went in the 70s, 80s at the latest, but they were all planted far too close together, and I think with the expectation that a lot of them wouldn't make it.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of them did make it.
But they did, yeah.
And now you're left with the legacy of that. So they're all competing for the same water,
yeah.
And therefore I believe they're probably under stress most of the time. But that being said, I don't like to touch them because here in Australia, we have drop bears, and they love to live in the gum trees.
They live up there. That's where they are. They're up there somewhere.
Yeah.
Mainly they come out at night and attack people, but yeah, it's safe to work during the day.
I've often been working and had one sort of very close and managed to elude it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, there is a lot of wildlife that uses the trees, and the koalas that do live around here this is their habitat, and so we try to maintain that as best we can.
So how far do you reckon we should keep going down here?
Look, I think it's unrealistic to think we'll go.
You could spend
go
weeks,
much
really.
further.
You could spend weeks.
Yeah, I could certainly. But look, I think what we'll do is just finish this little area off, and I'll use the tractor to bulldoze everything up to that end. We'll pile it up there, and then, let's call it job done for now. But I could never have got that amount of material out in the time that we've had, and I'd argue whether or not I'd have really tried.
Got to be a bit particular when you're going between the trees here that you don't hit anything when you swivel around, because this is a non-zero turn mini excavator, which means that when you rotate the house, it is wider than the tracks. So although you may get between the trees with your tracks, when you spin around, the house can actually hit something that's either side of it if you're very close. So it's always just constantly checking the best way of doing it. Looking good up there, mate. It's a good look, you know.
Yep.
Just have to convince the wife that it's
A good idea.
I really need one, darling.
Yeah, I have always really needed one. Geez, you're so smooth at it. Good.
That's it. Well, there we are. After probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, we've managed to get through a fair bit. What's your thoughts on this U-Butte stick rake thing?
The last time I had the energy to do this, what we've done with the stick rake, it was a couple of years ago with a rake, and I had it nice and clear. But you can see by the amount of material that's behind us how much debris builds up under the trees. Even that's a 2-year period, and really you should do that every year, is try and clear that. But again, if you look at the amount of material, even half that would be a lot. So that's one pile. We've got, what, Dave, I think one, two, three piles, and I've already done 4 tractor loads out to what is the 5 pile. But yeah, so it's, for me, the time saving is massive, because this is just one job. I'm on a long list of jobs that I've got to get through in any season.
What about, so we've got some shots there of you having a go at driving these things. So you've never actually operated like a mini excavator before, and they do take time to get used to, but what's your initial thoughts on how you went?
I think, yeah, when I watch you on it, you've had lots of experience in it, and it's when I get mesmerised watching guys on excavators doing it, and Dave makes it look very easy, but I think with time, I think with practice, I think you can get it.
It's
just
like getting
time.
in somebody else's car and you sort of think, well, where's the light switch and all that sort of stuff. So it is, and it's just getting a feel for it. And a lot of people, when they get onto a mini excavator, they always remark how twitchy they are, and you know that it sort of moves around very quick. But if you do just get used to the controls, you can actually get it quite smooth, and they do work quite well. And we're talking about the size of this machine before, and it's probably a bonus here because how close the trees are. We could actually get between the trees quite close as well.
Yeah, I'd argue if you had a bigger excavator that it would have, even though it might have had a longer reach and maybe obviously a little more powerful, I think you would have slowed you down getting between those trees, and you've got yourself all tricked up. You would be constantly moving to try and get in the best position, where the mini excavator really did move quite smooth through those trees and had plenty of room to work. And it worked really quickly. I mean, in 4 hours or whatever that we took to do it's 50 metres from here to where we were, along that tree line. We've done that in no time at all. You know, I would never, you kind of got to see, I would never be able to do that by hand. Even with the tractor or anything, I've never done.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this stick rake attachment, and I have mentioned in some of the shots there that this is one of the attachments that will normally be included if you buy any sort of Chinese mini excavator, whether it's a UHI brand or a Rhinoceros or an Achilles or something like that. Then usually this stick rake is one of those attachments they throw in, and I've only really ever used this on breaking up gravel in my driveway, so this is the first time I've actually used it for what it's intended for. Just my thoughts on the Mini X using it, and I've talked about this a little bit before, that the trouble with these small, cheap Chinese diggers are they only have a very limited flow through the hydraulic pump, and they only have a single pump. And where I found that sort of lets you down a bit in this sort of work is if you're trying to do more than 1 or 2 controls at the same time, then it's very hard to do it. So if you're sort of reaching out with the boom, you're extending the stick, you're curling the rake, and then at the same time you try and bring all that back and then spin around to drop it somewhere, it sort of struggles with that a little bit. Some of the other general digging stuff where you're just digging down and up and down and up, it seems to be okay, but I did notice a couple of times that that's a bit of a problem, and that's you know, that's just the machine itself. If you had a more expensive machine and it had a bigger pump or more than one hydraulic pump, then it would be a lot easier. But what happens then? That's the cost.
The cost, yeah.
So all of a sudden you're going from a $15,000-$16,000 Chinese mini excavator up to something that's sort of in the 35 to 40 grand. So I guess it's just knowing the limitations of the machine and just working to it. Like anything, you just get used to how it works and put up with it. But I'm sort of lucky that we actually got through it, and we didn't actually manage to put a stick through a hydraulic pipe or rip something off.
No.
I don't think there's any damage on it. I haven't looked at the roof. I got it close to some of the trees a few times, but I think we managed to miss them.
Yeah.
So we've got away pretty well unscathed. But I think it did a pretty good job.
I think it did a great job. It did an awesome job.
Yeah.
And I think, and obviously you've had a lot of time on this digger, and you make it look easy on the digger. And I think that's,
Yeah, well,
and I think anyone who, if you get one and you spend the hours on it, you're going to get better at it. Even with those limitations you're talking about, I think that the time, it's about what you can achieve. I couldn't have achieved that just by hand with a rake. This is clearly done.
So everybody says
job.
with these cheap Chinese mini excavators, it beats the shovel, and it certainly beats a rake. And
no argument from me.
All right, so that probably wraps this video up on using the stick rake on the UHI Mini Excavator, but we are here for another couple of days at Marty's place, so
couple more jobs to do.
Stay tuned, keep watching the channel, and we've got a couple of other videos of doing things around the farm coming up. So thank you everybody for watching the channel and supporting the channel. Thanks for watching all the videos. Please share, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.